Here we are, finally, my 2K sub special. This is going to be all about getting better at solo BedWars. I'm going to go through these tips rather quick, so please tell me in the comments any tips you'd like me to make a future video on. I'm going to have some gameplay for you guys to watch in the background, but that's not so important because the real meat is in the tips I've got for you guys. Also, timestamps are in the description, so let's just jump right in. So let's look at playstyles. What should your playstyle be? Generally, if you want to get experienced faster, the faster games, the better. So generally, the rule of thumb is to always be moving around the map, collect diamonds, get those upgrades. Do not just stay at your base. I know it can be especially tempting to just be a base camper. I know it's intimidating, especially if you're bad at sword fights and bridging, but you will not get better at the game if you do that. So always be engaging and moving around the map and attacking other teams. Also, do not let my advice of trying to play faster games stress you out too much. You do not want to rush games most of the time, especially if you're losing out on opportunities for diamond upgrades. And if your bed breaks, it can be especially overwhelming. If you want to hear what my playstyle is, it's always just going for diamonds and getting those upgrades. Now, what maps should you play? If you aren't so experienced, you should play all of them so you become knowledgeable on the map so there aren't any surprises, and it should also be treated as an overall learning experience. However, if you're well experienced with the game and maps and you have MVP+, you can use the map selector. And to hone it down simply, you should play maps like Lighthouse, Speedway, Airshow, and any other maps that you enjoy to your preference, because in the end, you should be playing maps that you like. Those 3 maps are just popular choice. What bed defense should you use? Now you might notice that I haven't been using my wood bed defense, aka the one that 30 Virus claimed. Now I use a simple 8 wool defense instead. How is this relevant? I use wool now because that only uses iron to spend on the defense and not the gold. I reserve the gold for getting iron armor instead because I've been playing a lot more aggressively. So from my experience, you should use a wood plus wool bed defense if you don't want to lose your bed easily, but if you want to be a more aggressive player, just throw down a quick wool defense. Now here's an important one. How should I attack my first rush? Firstly, I'm going to recommend that if it's a fast iron map, get a pickaxe along with your blocks when you rush because there's a good chance they will place endstone. Secondly, you only need to know how to speed bridge. Don't waste your time learning how to breezely or god bridge unless you're already consistent at it. Also, when you're bridging, don't just make it a level bridge, go up a few blocks and check every 10 blocks or so while you're bridging to see if your opponent starts bridging. If your opponent is bridging or going up, it is necessary that you keep the high ground as it is a huge advantage. Do anything you can to knock them or slow them down so you can get their bed. And do your best to not have a bed trade. Try to be the one to break their bed and not lose your own in the process. If you get their bed, kill them but have low health, still fight them when they respawn so you can reduce their health, because even if they kill you, there's still a chance you can get to them fast enough before they bridge elsewhere or regen using gapples. To sum it up for your first rush, it's all about putting constant pressure on your opponent without losing your own bed in the process so you can kill them. Now what to do after the first rush? First thing I do is get iron armor with 12 gold, and no matter what the map is, I always go for diamonds. And here's how you should spend them. If you get 1 diamond, get minus fatigue. If you get 2 diamonds, get minus fatigue and heal pool. If you get 3 diamonds, get prot and minus fatigue. If you get 4 diamonds, get prot, minus fatigue, and heal pool. I personally save to get sharpness later. Now basically the rest of the game, it's all about identifying the biggest threats, precisely which base is closest to yours that's been eliminating the most people. Do not just walk by every diamond generator, always take them if you have the time. And if you can go to a nearby base, ideally that is near your next rush, and use them on sharpness or protection and nothing else. However, if you're getting attacked with diamonds on hand, you're going to need to make the quick decision to either throw them in the void, especially if they look more stacked than you, or keep them and fight. The rest of the game is going to be going for people's beds, especially those that are being aggressive and you're trying to keep your own bed. Now if your mining fatigue trap goes off, if you are using the wool bed defense, I would not void, but if you have the wood plus wool defense, you can void. But only do this if you have a lot of gold in your ender chest and are confident enough to win the fight against the one that may be going for your bed. But only do this if you have a lot of gold in your ender chest and are confident enough to win the fight against the person that's going for you. If your bed gets destroyed, every thought you had about rushing to win the game should come to a blank. Now your game sense should be all about getting every single diamond upgrade and emeralds that you need to comfortably survive for the rest of the game. My method of going about it is going to mid to get 4 emeralds so I can run straight back and get a pearl, then either go around the map upgrading diamonds for sharpness and protection, or maniac miner if the last guy has obsidian, as well as going back to middle to get emeralds so I can get pots. Jump pots are hands down the most useful. You can of course pair it with invis, but keep in mind you should only use it in situations where they won't be able to easily see your particles or footprints. Also, generally you should be getting a lot of gapples. At least get yourself iron armor and an iron sword. If you want, I think knockback sticks are okay, but please do not get a punch bow unless you're Spin Town. They cost way too many emeralds. Everyone's gonna hate you. Unless you want to keep your integrity, just don't do it. Now you might be wondering how to win the game while also keeping your bed. During the game, always have Miner's Fatigue active. You always want to be attacking other players and getting rid of their beds. Bed elimination is key to winning. If you're the last person with the bed, what I would do, especially if it's a fast iron map, is I would void to get back to my base, get 60 iron to buy 20 glass and layer it over my wool, then get 8 gold to buy 32 wood and cover that over the glass. This is something I completely made up since glass is expensive, but it is amazing in effect when someone has Miner's Fatigue, so keep that in mind. But for the rest of the game, you want to stay relatively close to your base. Just don't go to the opposite corner of the map. It's common that people will actually invis rush you, but if you stay there and you see them pull out their tools, if you want, you can easily knock them in the void with a KB stick. Also, I would like to link some solo BedWars players you should really listen to based on their stats, those being Vixen and Purpled, so I'll have their tip videos in the description. But yeah, that's some brief tips. I'll see you guys later.